Hi. As you just heard, I'm Lou Ann Williams. I spoke to this group last year, and wow, what a year it's been. I still think it's the most interesting time ever to be in the food industry. And we've been talking about a lot of the trends that were either impacted by COVID or amplified by COVID. And this year, we really see something a little bit different. We do a big survey every year, a lifestyle survey, and we ask consumers about their global concerns. And we do this in every region. So there's 11 countries, and in Latin America, we include Brazil and Mexico. And last year we saw a big shift, and this year we see another shift. And that's really unusual because for years, health of the population has been the number one global concern. And now what we see happening is that in 4 of the 11 countries that we surveyed, so that's Germany, Spain, the UK, and the US, political instability is more important than health of the planet or health of the population. Last year, we saw health of the planet shoot to the number one place over health of the population. So it was a massive change for the consumer feelings around sustainability. For a long time, it was primarily a Wall Street issue, or it affected maybe a small group of what I always call top of the pyramid consumers. But now we see that consumers care about this. The definition of sustainability is quite broad, but it really does come down to transparency, trust, how food is produced. But what's really interesting about the shift in the 4 countries I just mentioned is that it really does point to a lack of leadership, and that consumers are looking for more control. So I'm just going to go through a few of these trends and highlight some of the insights from the study that we did. On the positive side, we see, especially in Latin America, the younger consumers are very positive about their future and about their future financial situation. They have a lot of uncertainty now, but over half of younger consumers say they're very optimistic and they expect the economy to rebound quickly. I think in a lot of countries in Latin America, there has been a lot of uncertainty. There's been concerns over corruption and so on for a long time. So I think a lot of older consumers kind of say, been there, done that, we'll get through it. And younger consumers seem very optimistic. We know that consumers all over the world are saying that they notice price rises. The 2 exceptions are China and India. And we won't go into all the reasons around that, but they are really exceptions when it comes to the economic impact that they're feeling now, and also price rises have not been as dramatic in those countries as in other countries. But people tell us they're spending more on food, mostly because of inflation. But some consumers are also saying because they are also socializing more with food, which I talked about last year. During COVID for about 18 months, food was our main entertainment. So people are spending more. But the opportunity that comes from this increase in spending is that consumers are looking for value for money. And definitions are very boring sometimes, but it's really important because figuring out what consumers value and what is considered value is really important. So one thing that we see, again, we'll use Latin America as the example, we see a shift to drinking more milk. So we see increased dairy consumption. And that really is driven by the nutrition that it brings. So that's a great example of looking for value. So is the value fills my stomach? Is it brings me better nutrition for the money that I spend? Is it provides me a little bit of indulgence? So understanding for your consumer group what that value is really the opportunity in this very uncertain world. Of course, we know the people that tell us that their financial situation is the worst say that there's more important finding value for money. So yeah, so this is, again, it's the point of concern, which really it's common sense, but understanding what the value is important. We also asked consumers what were they willing to give up. And the things that came on the top in Latin America was indulgent treats and new and exotic flavors and taste. So I think people are not willing to take a risk. If you're going to spend your money, you're going to spend it on a sure thing. We saw that during COVID as well, that there was a massive shift back to established brands. So brands that maybe didn't seem that exciting for a long time, they offered trust and reliability. And so we saw that, and now we see that coming up here as well. What are consumers least willing to compromise on? Unbelievable, locally produced was number one. Local is a trend that is absolutely sticking everywhere. Every time I'm reading the newspaper looking for things, there's a new local restaurant, new local dairy, that has been around for a long time, and now people are paying more attention to it. People are touring dairy products and dairy farms where I'm from in Georgia. I didn't even know they existed, and now it becomes a fun thing to go and see how it's made. But consumers really value that. And again, it offers trust and transparency in this very uncertain world. Convenience. So we're still working a lot, stressed, and so on. So convenience is really important. And then products that are tailored to my health needs, products that help me with my mental health, are the things that consumers are least willing to give up. So yeah, that's really interesting. And even when it comes to the environment, so this whole point about trust, but also control. So I mentioned that there's a lot of political feelings of insecurity around political instability as well in the world. But again, I'm going to continue I've been presenting about Latin America recently. So using, again, Brazil and Mexico as an example, consumers are saying we are still going to choose more sustainably grown and produced products, local products, minimize food waste, also recycle. Again, these are all things that give consumers that feeling of control. And these remain important even when the financial situation is worse. So I think there's never been a more interesting time to be in food. Innovation remains important. Consumers are not just saying price is the only thing that matters. Absolutely not. So all these trends that we've been watching, the entrepreneurs that are working on these fantastic products that you're going to be seeing about through this program, really, really important. Consumers value them more than ever. So I hope everyone enjoys, and good luck.